Okay, so I have my Hawkeye shirt on because, well, I don't have an Echo shirt. And also, Maya did premiere in Hawkeye, so it kind of fits. Just roll with it. But yeah, if you haven't figured it out, today's video is a Echo review of season 1. Probably maybe the only season, I don't know. But yeah, so first I'm going to go into my non-spoiler thoughts, and then I'm going to dive into spoilers, so that way if you haven't seen Echo, you're maybe on the fence about it, you can hear what I thought without getting spoiled. So, yeah. So, Echo basically follows Maya Lopez as she's on the run from Kingpin's criminal empire following the events of, well, Hawkeye. And we see Maya return home to confront her past and figure out how to move forward from her past. Now, while Echo does take place after Hawkeye, it's not necessary to have seen Hawkeye, because a lot of the key pivotal moments from Hawkeye are shown again in this series. So you don't have to have seen Hawkeye to watch Echo and understand what's happening in Echo. Similarly, with Daredevil, you don't have to have seen Daredevil, even though characters from Daredevil, like Kingpin, are there. You don't have to have seen Daredevil to understand Echo. So Echo kind of stands on its own, even though it's spun off from these two series. So that's pretty cool. I mean, overall, I don't really have any strong feelings about the show either way. Like, I kind of, like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't necessarily enjoy it a whole lot, but I didn't hate it either. So it's a very weird process that's happening in my head, because I'm like, okay, I enjoyed it, but like, I don't have strong feelings about it. And so it's weird, because I think this is the first Marvel project that I don't have strong feelings about whether I loved it or didn't, ever, honestly. So it's pretty weird. But I do know that I enjoyed, quite a bit of things about this show. It's not exactly easy to pinpoint what I loved about this show, and also subsequently what I didn't love about this show, but I did enjoy it. I did have fun with it. But ultimately, the thing to point out is that this show is not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to love this show, because it's not quite as action-packed as you would expect from a superhero show. It's very character-driven and character-focused. So it makes the pacing a little bit slower. I don't know why in my head I want to say it's like somewhat reminiscent of WandaVision, where it's like, it's kind of a slow pace until it like builds up to the end. But I think it's a lot slower than WandaVision, which is weird. But it is a pretty slow-paced show. I personally enjoy those types of shows. I love shows that focus on characters, especially when they're not, like, familiar characters. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of time with Echo and Hawkeye, and that was the only project that we had seen her in. So it's like, okay, I don't mind having a series where we get to dive into the character of Maya, and yeah. So I don't mind it, but definitely if you're going into this thinking it's going to be action-packed, it's going to be a great superhero show, that's not what it is. It's a lot slower, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing either. It's just sort of something to be aware of. Now, another thing to note before I dive into the spoilers is that this is not a Marvel Studios project, but rather a Marvel Spotlight project. And I had heard rumblings about Marvel doing like a Spotlight thing, but I didn't pay much attention to it So I had to figure out what Marvel Spotlight was, and so I went on MCU Wiki, which is basically where I get all my research from. And according to them, Marvel Spotlight is an initiative designed to showcase individual projects, all characterized by their grounded and character-driven storytelling approach. Now, from that description of what Marvel Spotlight is, I think Echo definitely falls under that. Like, it's very character-driven and it's somewhat grounded anyways. So, yeah, I mean, it fits. It works. But I'm not sure how Marvel Spotlight fits into the continuity of the MCU. But that is the information that I have on that. So now I'm going to be diving into spoilers. So if you have not seen Echo, go watch it. All 5 episodes are on Disney Plus and Hulu in the US, I think. Yeah, and then come back here and hear what I thought, or risk being spoiled. You have been warned. Okay, so first I'm going to start with what I liked, which is quite a few things, honestly. I love the family dynamics. Like, I think Maya and her complicated familial dynamics, it's just, I love it. I love it. And I think in a show that is very character focused, the first thing under the Marvel Spotlight, which is apparently focused on their character driven storytelling approach, I think it's important to have these different dynamics, and I love Maya's dynamic with her family members, her different family members, but I also love the different family members' dynamics with each other as well, and that's pretty cool because I wasn't expecting it. So, but yeah, just the family dynamics in general and the complicatedness of family, like, I loved it. Another thing I loved was Maya's, like, character development. Again, it kind of fits the character-driven storytelling for the Marvel Spotlight thing, but, like, she kind of, like, started out being very, like, hesitant about, killing, and then she kind of got into it, and then she kind of, strayed away from it, and she went back and forth with Kingpin, and, whether, she loved him as her uncle or literally hated him for killing her father. But then she also had this back and forth type relationship with the members of her family as well. Just really getting to explore Maya as a character and her growth and development throughout her whole life, but even throughout, like, the present day of the show, was really, really cool to see. Another thing I loved was the name Echo coming from something that Maya's mom had said to her. Basically, her mom tells her, "You aren't alone. All of us that came before are a part of you because we echo through you." And I think within the context of the show, that makes sense. But I think it's something that we can all sort of look at within ourselves as well. Like, the people that came before us, they are a part of us in some way, shape, or form. And I think that makes it very relatable on so many different levels. And I love that. But I love that it was, like, Maya's mom that, like, gave the name Echo, and I'm like, you know what? I love it. I love it. Now, another thing that I loved also came from Maya's mom, but Maya's costume, her superhero costume, in the final episode, when she sees it, her mom basically tells her, "Every seam on the suit shows that you're a part of us and we're a part of you." And I love that. I love the connection to family in this show. Like, the connection to the family that we know within the immediate, but also the connection to family that came long before. And I think that's really, really special. And I love that. Another thing I loved was the music. Now there was, some American style music, but there was also a lot of like native indigenous music, and I love how they sort of blended them together almost. Like there was a good mixture, and I really love that. Like I love it. I love it. But another thing that I loved, and it didn't really show up until the final episode, that they had I'm gonna butcher this so badly, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma collaborate on this series. I am sorry that I 100% butchered that. I guarantee you that I did. I think when you're telling stories of a specific culture, it's very important to get the input of people within that culture, and it seems like they did that. I don't know how well that rang true within the show. If someone who knows more about it would like to let me know their thoughts of how well it was done in the show, that would be great. I would love to hear that. But from me as a white person, I think it did a pretty good job. But like I said, it's not my story, and I don't know how well it came off in the show. So if anybody wants to throw their thoughts on that in the comments down below, that would be great. I would love to hear that, and I'm sure other people would as well. But it is nice that they had, outside people sort of coming in and collaborating on the series, and presumably giving their input on, what rings true and what doesn't, and all that. And, it's great. We love that. Now on to what I didn't like. There's not much because, well, like I said, I had trouble pinpointing things. But the one thing that I didn't like too much, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was just sort of meh. And I guess that's sort of where this falls. I don't think I really had anything that I didn't like. It was just sort of things that I'm like, maybe we didn't need to do that. But giving Maya, like, powers. Like, she has, like, this healing power, but she also had the power to transport Kingpin to his past as an adult, and that's kind of where it went off the rails for me a little bit. I love the idea of the connection to her ancestors. I think that was done really well. Do we need to go with the powers angle? Like, I think having Maya be sort of this grounded, realistic character, would have worked better. But I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was just sort of, do we need to go that route? Like, I'm not mad necessarily that they did go that route, but it's like, I don't know if we needed to do that. But another thing that I didn't like, but is also sort of under the meh category, is the all episode drop. So not only does Echo have 5 episodes, which is the shortest series under the Marvel umbrella, it's like they dropped them all at once, and I was against the all episode drop at first. Like, I was like, no, we don't like this. We want a week to week. Like, why do some shows get week to week and others don't? Also, why do some shows get 6, 9, however many episodes, and Echo gets 5? But ultimately, I think in many ways the all episode drop worked in a weird way. Like, I don't love it because it's like, really, this is the show that we're going to choose to drop all the episodes on. But I think it allowed for a more seamless flow of story with the all episode drop rather than breaking it up and waiting a week. I do think that we could have done what if season 2 had done, where it was like one episode a day. And I think maybe that would have been a better route to go, maybe. But I didn't necessarily hate the all episode drop as much as I thought I was going to. But I still kind of hate the all episode drop. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, it was hard to pinpoint what I liked and what I didn't like. It was a lot easier to pinpoint what I liked versus what I didn't, because I'm like, I don't think I really like disliked anything so much to like put it in a like didn't like section. But yeah, overall I think Echo is, you know, a show that not everybody is going to enjoy. That much is very clear, but I really did kind of enjoy it. Like, I think, you know, 5 episodes, relatively short. All of them were less than an hour. I think it was a good, like, episode time pacing. And also, like I said, I just enjoy, personally, like, diving into characters versus punchy, fighty action scenes. So it worked for me. But I do know that this is a Marvel project, and Marvel is superheroes, and Marvel is action, fighty, punchy. And this had it, but it also didn't. So, yeah, I mean, is it going to be for everybody? No, and that's okay. But I personally kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Echo. I know it's kind of an odd bunch of things, but I mean, that's my thoughts anyways. But let me know, what did you all think of Echo? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know what you liked and what you didn't like too, because I'm really curious. And also let me know whether or not the stuff that was shown is accurate, I guess, to Native, Indigenous, Choctaw Nation culture. I'm really curious to hear everybody's thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you all liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye!